Well, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that you were able to join us tonight. We are super, super excited. If you're wondering about my glasses, I was telling Candy that I just like to be proactive with my health, and they recommend that you wear these glasses at night. And so I enjoy that once in a while when I remember. But anyway, we really want to honor Candy's time tonight because she's also a lacrosse coach, and she is currently at a, a lacrosse training, I believe, or a game. But anyway, she is still being faithful to her word. She's following that one principle, that you always do what you say you're going to do. So she had told us she was going to be with us tonight. And even though she has a little bit of a conflict, she's taking time out of her busy schedule to join us. We just introduced her recently, so I'm not going to go over all of her wonderful credentials, but I do want to just highlight a little bit that she is an amazing LifeVantage leader. And her team is in momentum. How many of you guys want to be in momentum? We're going to hear a little bit about how to do that tonight. And last month, they had 3 new MC1s, if I'm right about that, Candy. I think I got that right. And that is amazing. MC1 is a great rank to achieve. And so we are super excited to have her here. And she is going to share with us a little bit about how we can invite people to take a look at this, because we have to invite a lot of people to be able to find 15 people that we can do a presentation with to get our 15 presentations in a month. So Candy, I'm going to turn the time over to you. And when you have to go, we totally understand. And we thank you so much. It's an honor and privilege to have you on here again. You're such a sweetheart for doing this for us.
Oh, well, you are welcome, and it's an honor to be on the call. You guys have such a beautiful team. Like, I see all of these beautiful smiles and all of these glowing faces. So thank you for having me. And welcome, Emily. You're brand new. Like, how exciting is that? I remember I've been with LifeVantage for 4.5 years, and I'm more excited now than I was when I was brand new. But honestly, I was so excited. Like, when I saw this, I caught the vision right away. And it looks like you probably did too, Emily. So that's really cool. But just a little bit of a background before I go into inviting is, and I'm going to give you this background because it's going to be very, it's going to play into what we're talking about. So I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 18 years. And what I found, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at a young age. And so I kind of got flipped on the other side of, you know, being a patient and not a nurse anymore. I thought I was a very good nurse. I was very compassionate. I loved taking care of people. I gave them everything that I had, but sometimes I gave them too much that I neglected myself and I neglected my family. I ended up getting sick and I was kind of ran through the gamut of treatment for my Crohn's disease. And it really, I truly believe that things happen for you and not to you. And as I look at my health journey, and there's so many other things that I could add to that too, but I'm going to try to keep this part short, is when I look at that, I think, gosh, like I can reflect back on it now and realize that I needed to be on the other side because I wasn't able to have the empathy for those patients if I've never been a patient before. Right. So I was able to relate to them in a different way and I was able to take care of people better. But what I will tell you through that is that they tried everything to manage my inflammation for my Crohn's disease. I was put on multiple medications. I was taking 17 prescription medications a day to handle my Crohn's and my chronic pain. And you guys, I was young, I was healthy, I ate really clean, I exercised every day. Like, there wasn't anything else I could do to change that, right? But after they tried all the medication, including the biologic medication, they then did a fecal transplant, which, if you guys know what that is, it's an experimental procedure where they do a fecal transplant of a healthy person and they try to change the gut flora from a bad bacteria to a good bacteria to get rid of that inflammation in your gut. You guys, that didn't work either. So then they did plasma infusions. that didn't work. So really the end result for me was going to be a small bowel resection because that's where my Crohn's was centralized. And if you guys know that your small bowel is essentially where you absorb all of your nutrients. And so I wasn't going to be able to absorb any nutrients. And so that was the last thing that I wanted to happen. Like 35 years old with a small bowel resection would have been awful, right? But what I can tell you is I had so many people reach out to me with the next thing, with the next snake oil. Like that's what I put it in quotation marks, right? The next thing that's going to help my Crohn's disease. And I was so tired of hearing what's going to help me because I had tried everything. I was just over it. I didn't want to listen to anybody. And if my friend I thank God every day for her because if she would have came to me and said, Candi, I have something that's going to help your Crohn's disease. Will you take a look? I wouldn't be talking to all of you right now. I would not be here 4.5 years later if she would have invited me like that. She said to me, I know that you're probably not going to be interested in this, but will you just come support me since we're close friends? Will you just support me and know what I'm doing so that I can have a support system? Well, absolutely. I'm not going to not show up for a friend that wants support. You guys, that day changed my life because of the way that she invited me. It changed my life forever. My Crohn's disease, the only thing that I did different was take these products. My Crohn's disease has been in 100% remission for over 4 years. I went from taking 17 prescription medications to taking nothing. I walked away from my job as a registered nurse 11 months later. I was able to replace my income. I have 4 kids, you guys. I signed up for this because I saw a vision to get time back in my life. We don't know what people are searching for. People are on their hands and knees, wishing, hoping, praying that something would come into their life, either financially wise, time wise, or health wise, or all of those, right? But we can't make that decision for them. So the best invite is always the one that you do first off, because you have to do an invite to be able to get a yes or a no. But less is more. You guys, less is more. I don't give people any information on the company, the name of the company, that it's a business, that it's an opportunity, that it's network marketing. I don't tell them there's a product. I don't tell them anything. I say, hey, I have something that, I ask people questions, honestly, especially if it's somebody I've never met before. I ask them questions, I build that relationship, I get to know them. And then when you are actually listening to people, they're going to tell you their pain points. Most of the time, if you start asking questions, they will tell you. So if I have, say, a mom that's working 2 jobs and she's like, I just wish I could see my kids more, then I'm going to say, hey, if I had something that could potentially help you, would you give me 30 minutes of your time? If I have somebody who has a chronic illness that can't get out of bed, that doesn't feel good, hey, if I had something that could help you, would you give me 30 minutes of your time? Right? So, but you're making it about them, but you're keeping it simple. I tell all of my new people, my brand new people, I say, don't worry about, because isn't it overwhelming for everybody that's been in LifeVantage for a long time? You always need to remember where you came from. And when you first start something new, there's a lot of information coming at you from all different directions. There's a lot of Zoom calls, there's a lot of trainings, there's a lot of events, there's a lot of things happening, and it can be really overwhelming to people. And people feel like they want to know everything before they can send an invite. But that's why we have a team of people, because you're going to lean on your upline for their belief, for their story, for their testimonial until you get your own. It's going to take some time, right? But we do this together. So I want you to, especially you, Emily, being brand new, those brand new people, you don't need to worry about steps 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You don't need to worry about knowing all of the information. You just have to start by sending an invite. The good presenters come and go, but it's the inviters that make the dough. Have you guys ever heard that? If you can become a good inviter, you can be at the top of this company. The it's a skill. It's a skill that you have to learn. And you guys, I promise you, you're going to be bad before you're good, and you're going to be good before you're great. But that's like everything in life. I mean, you're not great or wonderful at something until you've practiced over and over and over and over again to see what works for you, right? But I will tell you, the more information that you give people in that invite, the more likely they are to say no or to start avoiding you. Because what happens is you give a little too much information, or you start talking about the products. The person that you're talking to then assumes what this is, just another one of those things, another one of those supplement companies, another one of those network marketing businesses. And their wall comes up and they don't want to hear anything else. They're done listening, right? But if they don't know what it is, and you're really excited about something, you're creating that curiosity because you're so excited you can barely stand it. Like, they're going to be like, when can we meet? I want to know what you're talking about. Like, I want to know what this is. If it's this exciting to you, if it's this important to you. Another great invite that I use that might help you is, I have something that's really, really important to me. It may not be important to you, but would you be willing to take a look and let me know what you think? Or, I have something that could add value to you. Would you be willing to take a look? If they come back and say, what is it? That's also a skill that you have to learn. But you guys, reach out to your upline. If you're having problems with this, you don't have to respond to people right away. Guess what? If you're running a multi-million-dollar business, you are not going to be responding to people instantly. You can wait 10 to 15 minutes to respond to people. You don't have to get back to them right away. Then they know that you're busy if you're not responding to them right away. So that's okay to do that. But if they're asking you what it is, I just tell them, you know what? It's too important to me to share over a text. We need to sit down in person. Let's go have coffee so that I can share the whole story with you, or something like that. And then if some people are going to pull back and say no. But you know what? Most people will eventually say yes, because it drives them so crazy. It creates that curiosity and it drives them crazy, and they want to know what you're doing, and they'll come back and say, okay, I'm ready. Let's find a time to sit down and have coffee. I want to hear what you're doing. Because they're watching you too. Remember that all of these people that you guys are inviting are watching you on social media. Be very, very aware of that. I don't post products on social media. I don't post about LifeVantage on social media. Everybody does it differently. If that works for you, then that's awesome. Knee to knee is better for me. I want to sit down with people in person. If I can't do that, then Zoom is the next best option if they don't live here, right? Because I want to be able to see people. I want to be able to relate to them when I'm sharing with them. And just putting a product on Facebook, that does not give them the full story of what you're doing here. Like, this is the most phenomenal thing I've ever been a part of. But for me, it's like, how can you show them this company, and how can you show them this amazing community? I mean, look at all of you. Like, they're going to miss all of that if we're just putting a product on Facebook. They're not going to realize that this is the most amazing community out there of like-minded people who truly want to make a difference in this world, who truly want to lock arms and move forward in the same direction and make a difference. And I also feel like if we're just talking about products, or we're just putting products on social media, which I take that back, because I do stories every once in a while, but they expire in 24 hours, but I don't put stuff on my page. So let me be clear on that. I think stories are really great to create curiosity, to get people to come talk to you, because they see a before and after picture, like of Carol. Have you guys seen those before and after pictures? Because, oh my gosh, that you are so beautiful, Carol. You were beautiful before, but oh my gosh, like, if you put that on your story on social media, you're definitely people are gonna be asking you what you're doing and want to know more. But then that gives you the opportunity to actually set up a time to share the whole story of LifeVantage with them. The whole story is your story of why you're doing this, the company story, which involves the products, and how to get involved and how to get paid. That's so important, because you guys, when you're just sharing products with people, I feel like shame on you, right? Shame on us. If we're just sharing a business, then shame on us. That means we're making a decision for other people. It's not our decision to make on how they want to become a part of this company. Right? I tell the people that start, I'm like, this is going to open up your world to a world that you never knew existed. Did you guys think that you would ever be part of a community that is as amazing as LifeVantage? Like, I didn't know it existed. I mean, most people are out there surviving. Most people are out there doing life on their own. They have no idea that there's a community of people that would support them and believe in them until they believe in themselves and empower them to become the best version of themselves so that they can help more people. Because really, that's the whole thing here is to become a master servant. If you can help enough other people get what they want out of life, then your family will be blessed. But that's really what this is about is helping other people. But you guys use what works for you for the invite. I mean, Rob and Summer, my upline, they teach, I have a project I'm working on. I'd love to get your opinion on it. That didn't resonate with me and that didn't work for me because I don't work on projects. So when I tried to send that out, I had people that were like, did you get hacked? Because that doesn't sound like you. Like, make sure that it's authentically you. Every single one of you on this call is a gift. And every single one of you is authentically you, right? There's nobody else on this planet that is you. So show up as you. People care more about how much you care than how much you know. And if you're showing up as you authentically, then you're going to build this through your heart. And that's what this is about. If you're in the very beginning, it's really, really hard. I had a hard time with this because I always heard people say, let it go from your head to your heart. And I never understood what that meant because I was coming from a place of I felt like everything I've ever done in my life I did from my heart. I felt like I was a very caring person to the point where sometimes I got taken advantage of because that's all I did was give and give and give and give and give. So I didn't understand how they could tell me that I was busy building this business from my head and not my heart. Well, if you're making it about you and you're taking the rejections and the no's personally and you're not separating yourself from the results, then you're building this from your head. Because when you get in your heart space, you are totally disconnected from the results of what other people are going to say because it's not on you. My moral obligation is to share the information with people, give them options, let them decide how this fits into their life. And then I'm going to grab a hold of them and I'm going to help them with whatever their goals and dreams are. If their goal is to become healthy, then I'm going to help them. I'm going to talk to them about the products and I'm going to educate them more on the products and find what products are going to be the best for them and what to expect when they start taking the products. And if they're wanting time back in their life, then I'm going to ask them the questions about how many hours a week can you do this business? Can you think of 2 or 3 people right now? You guys, you're brand new people. You should be having them. You should try your hardest to have them send 2 or 3 invites right after they sign up because you want to get them a win right away. Do it with them because people are scared to death. You guys, I was so scared. Can anybody else relate to me? I was so scared when I started this. I literally sent out an invite to my cousin. Summer told me, Candy, just send her an invite that says I have a project I'm working on. I want to get your opinion. So you want to know what I did? I sent her an invite that said, I'm scared to death. Will you get on a Zoom call with this lady that I don't even know for 30 minutes and let me know what you think? So, of course she did because she was my cousin and she wanted to support me. That was my very first presentation. It was over Zoom because my cousin didn't live in the same town as me. My lips turned blue. I dropped my phone and I almost passed out. I couldn't even introduce them. That's how scared I was. Like, I know that sounds dramatic, but that is a true story. And people are scared to death. So we have to grab their hand and we have to walk them through this. And we have to prove to them that we're going to be there with them every step of the way, right? Because otherwise they're not going to do anything with this. They're not going to send the invite because they're going to be scared. Like, it would sometimes take me 2 or 3 hours to send an invite because I couldn't decide if I wanted to use the word and or the word or, because I didn't know which one sounded better. I mean, how silly is that? Just now I just hit send. But it took me a long time. I've been involved for 4.5 years, and probably for the first 3 years, I had to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send. Like, otherwise I would never send them because I would overthink it. Are you guys overthinkers too? Because I am. I would overthink it, and I would make it about me, and I would, and then I would push send, and then I would stare at my phone for like 30 minutes and they wouldn't respond, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what are they thinking?" Like, it's so silly. You guys, right now, I can tell you that I send so many invites. I know this, okay, I don't want this to sound bad because it's not bad, but I send so many invites that I don't even remember who I invited. The reason I do that is because it's a mental thing for me. If I just go through and send invite after invite after invite after invite after invite and I don't remember, then I'm not connected to them not responding. I'm just worrying about the people that are responding, right? So I don't, otherwise, it can paralyze people. And it can still even paralyze me. If I send an invite to somebody who's, like, say, on my chicken list, it can paralyze me if I'm sitting there looking at my phone and checking back every half an hour to see if they saw it on Messenger or to see if they responded or to see if they, like, it gives me so much anxiety. Don't do that to yourself. You don't have to do that. I can't do that. It's too much for me to do that. But are these helping? Is this helping you guys? Yeah. I would say the speed of the leader, if you guys want to get your teams into momentum, the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. The number one thing to build a big organization with LifeVantage is you have to continue to lead by example, and you can't get stuck in the management mode trap, because so many people do that. And if you're not continuing to do your 15 or more personal presentations a month and you're just working with your team, then you're in management mode, right? You have to continue to personally enroll. You have to continue to show up on the leaderboards. You have to continue to get the tracks. You have to continue to get the seller titles, because you're showing your team that it's possible. And if you want to start your momentum, go talk to 100 people as fast as you can. Start your own momentum, and I promise you, your team will follow you. So,
That was awesome, Candy. Wow, I took some notes and it was terrific. Really great. I really appreciate it. Do you have, let's see what time it is here. Do you
yeah, I
have
still have time.
like 5 minutes or something? Yeah, I thought maybe we could do a little Q&A. So now you said that, how many invites do you send out like in a day or a week? Do you have like a goal, or do you just send out a bunch, or how do you go about that?
My goal is 100 a month,
100 a
because
month.
I go by the rule of threes that Tyler Daniels teaches, if you guys know the rule of threes. So it's, say, for every 30 invites you send, 10 people are going to say yes to a presentation. And for every 10 presentations you do, 2 to 3 people are going to enroll either as a customer or a consultant. So if I want to get 3 to 4 to 5 enrollments a month, then I need to be doing that many invites.
Okay, wow. Um, all right. So I'm just trying to think about this for a minute. So, um, in the beginning, you were saying about how, you start conversations with people and, you look for their pain points. But when you're sending out 100 a month, like it seems like it'd be hard to be in that many conversations. So how can you kind of piece that together a little bit for me and for us?
Yeah, I still have I guess I feel like I was blessed a little bit too by this. I talk a lot about how I spent several years of my life doing serving other people and to detriment of myself, right? And my family because when I started LifeVantage, I have a big network of people, that I know. And not that all of them are in my warm market, but I mean, 4.5 years later, I still haven't gotten through my network, but I also am very, very intentional when I go anywhere and do anything. I try to involve myself. I'm a volunteer for the Red Cross. I just got a customer today with another RN that volunteers for the Red Cross. I coach lacrosse. I try to do different community events. I volunteer in my community. So I put myself in a lot of places to be able to meet more people and to be able to have those conversations, right? So I talk to a lot of people, and I think that that's important too, because there's so many people that are walking around like, go to the grocery store. Why not start a conversation with the checker and see how they're doing? If you guys ask them how their day's going, you're probably gonna get a lot of information from them because not very many people ask them how their day's going. Or going up to the Walmart greeter and just seeing how their day's going and asking them, are you doing this because you want to do this out of the kindness of your heart, or are you doing this because you have to do this? Like just being aware of your surroundings and being aware of people and really, having those conversations and asking those questions. And it took me a long time to get to a point where I could ask people questions like that. But some of those invites, Julie, you're right. Some of them are just like I've watched people on Facebook, right? I've watched people and I've watched maybe they have something going on in their life, and every once in a while I'll send them a text that says, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. I hope you're doing okay." And I might do that for a couple months, and then I know they've gotten through whatever, and then I can invite them. So I tried to build that know, like, and trust through that. But I don't spend a lot of time doing that on social media. I'd rather be in person.
Mm.
But I mean, there's people everywhere, and there's people everywhere that are just waiting for you to ask them. I can't tell you guys how many situations I've had where I've reached out to one of my friends on Facebook and they're like, "Gosh, I've been waiting 2 years for you to reach out to me. I've been watching you for 2 years." And I just feel bad. I'm like, you know, there's so many people that I think that we're forgetting about, that we're not thinking that all of the people that have crossed our paths throughout our entire life. And I think that we forget until maybe we run into them, or maybe we happen to see something on Facebook. And with the Facebook algorithm, you really only see a very minimal amount of people too. So it's trying to change up that algorithm and trying to see more people, trying to become friends with more people. And I just go out of my way to try to meet more people and to try to just get to know them a little bit before I invite them if it's a brand new person. Did that answer that?
Mm.
Pretty well. Yeah, pretty well.
Okay.
It's always it's a little bit of like there's some just to know like when to invite people and all that. Sometimes on social media when you don't know people like super well, it can, you can get in a little bit of of trying to figure out how the best way to do it is. So I see a couple questions on here. Somebody is saying, what specifically are you inviting them to? Um,
So I'm inviting them to a presentation. And if you're brand new or you're not comfortable doing your own presentation, then I would check with your actively growing upline to see if they're available to help you. Because really we need to, when I'm inviting them, I want them to take a look at the story of LifeVantage, which is our story, the company story, and how to get paid. Right? It's sharing all of the information with them so that they can make their own decision. So if that's in person for a coffee, if that is over a Zoom call, sometimes I have to do Facebook Messenger, sometimes you just do a phone call. Sometimes every once in a while somebody will not get on the phone and I just we try everything to get them on the phone and they're just not comfortable with it, so we just send the ABC prime time. But that's really rare. have never had, and I don't know about your guys' luck, but I haven't had anybody enroll by sending them the video before I'm able to actually talk to them and share the value of this company and the value of the products.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you do a lot on Facebook Messenger? A lot of those 100 invites, are they done on Facebook Messenger?
A lot of them are on Messenger. Some of them are personal texts. Some of them are in person. So when I do my in-person invites, like I went to, for example, I went to an event 2 weekends ago, and I was meeting people while I was there, and there was a booth that we were there volunteering for Impact Montana, which is a program that supports soldiers and first responders and their families. And so we had this other booth come up to us, and they were telling us that they were starting another home health care agency in Helena, and I was so excited about it because I don't know what it's like in your guys' area, but people are on waiting lists for home health care and hospice in Montana for a long time, to where they're not getting the services that they need, and it's devastating. And so I made that connection because I was so excited, and they asked me what I did, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, you would love what I do. I said, but this is not the appropriate time because I'm here for Impact Montana. You're here educating people on what you do. So let's set up another time outside of this where we can sit down and have coffee and I can share it with you.
Love
Awesome. That was really good. Well, Candy, I know you said you had 30 minutes, and so it looks like we've just reached the 30-minute mark there. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us. It was a lot of valued information, a lot of golden nuggets, and so I really appreciate you. You're doing an awesome job with LifeVantage. We're so glad that you're in our company and a part of our LifeVantage family. So thank you so
Yes.
much, Candy. That was
You
awesome.
are welcome. Thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful night.
Okay. Bye-bye.
it. Hi, Candy.
Okay, everyone. Well, that was certainly some great information. I hope you got some notes. I got some notes, and let's kick it up. You can see how she is in momentum. 100 contacts, 100 invites a month. I mean, that is definitely, she definitely has a good work ethic, and that's a lot of times what you need to do to make
is.
some progress. Let's see here if we have anything else. Yeah, that is a good question, Cindy, about how to track all of this. And I think that would be, a good thing for a forthcoming topic, just about how to be organized and how to track this. I know some people, there's so many different methods that you can use. You just have to figure out what works for you. So, yeah, Debbie?
She did address that briefly though, by saying she doesn't keep track of all of the people she invites. Did
That's
you hear
true.
her say that? She said this, I don't mean this to be bad, but she said, I invite so many people that I don't keep track of it. She said the ones I want to keep track of are the ones that respond to the invitation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there is that side of it. I know there are people that I'm wanting to, if I invite them, I don't hear from them, that I'm going to invite them again 6 months later, but I don't know that I need to keep track of it. I don't know. I'm not down and keeping track. I keep track like crazy. I try to anyway, at least write something down so I have those names. But I think any of us could just meet that challenge for 1 month and say, wow, this month I'm going to invite 100 people and I'm not going to keep track of them. I'm just going to get 100 invites out and see what happens when I do that.
I think
It's just
personally, I
an
took
idea.
it.
Who is this? Who is the
Katrina Bayless. I'm
What?
sorry. Katrina Bayless. I'm in
Katrina?
Deb's downline. Yes.
Okay.
Katrina's on my team. Hi, Katrina. I'm glad you're here. She's
Thanks.
under Tracy.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't take it as she didn't keep track of it, but more along the lines of she didn't bother to think about it. I mean, it's just, okay, this one's done. Move on. You got to keep track of it at least a little bit so that you can do the follow-up if necessary. So my guess is there is some sort of system even if it's just writing a name
Mhm.
and a date of contact and a file card, and or do the same on your computer or in a calendar. But just to be able to say, yes, I've contacted this person and this is what I have given them, the information that I have given them, and or this is the information that I still need to give them, you know, the plan or whatever. But
Right.
to me, it seems like,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Or else she wouldn't know she had 100.
right.
So yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, yeah, I think
And
she
maybe,
probably
you know, you
writes
see
down
someone,
something.
if you see someone at the market and you ask them how they're doing and you invite them then and they say no, okay, well, you don't have their name and number for that one. Okay, so you can't exactly keep track of that one. But
Actually, you can, because they say that sometimes when you meet people, they might not be, it might not be the right time for them, but something will change in their life, and at some point it's probably going to be the right time. So I think maybe we could talk more about that on another night, because it is a very important topic, and maybe sometime soon we can do one on follow-up, because follow-up, they say the fortune's in the follow-up, and we all know follow-up is important, and I'm sure Candy does a lot of follow-up too. But anyway, that was just a great teaching, and I appreciate you guys all being on here. And we're gonna close
Angie
out.
has her hand up too, Julie. So I don't know if you want to, if you have time to take her question, but Angie had her hand up for a bit
Oh,
there.
Angie has a question. Okay.
Hi, everybody. No, I don't have a question. I'm on Candy's team. So I was going to help with that question about the keeping track. And so what we tend to do a lot of times is in our paper calendar, we'll keep track of who we contacted and maybe by their name, put, if we left a message or we talked to them, or then of course, if we set something up, then putting that in there. So the paper calendar is really important for us, but yeah, that and the other gal that mentioned, writing it down or whatever, that's pretty much what we do. But I think what she meant by not keeping track was that she's not going to let the no's or the ghosting or whatever people call it when people don't respond to you, because I've been on the phone with her many times because I'm in her downline. She is my actively growing upline. She's who I call when I'm freaking out or when I'm down about somebody not getting back to me, because really all I want to do is help them, right? I'm so concerned and I want to help them in any way I can. And so I have called her. I've been like, people aren't responding to me. What am I doing wrong? Right. And she's like, Angie, don't worry about that, because people's lives change every 90 days. It doesn't matter. Don't pay attention to that. Just keep inviting. And at some point, and I've had this happen, people come back around and they come back to me and say, hey, what was that you were talking about? I really want to know more about it now. Now I'm in the right place, right? So I just wanted to comment on that and help you guys if I hope that helped. I don't know. I just didn't want you to.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angie, for clarifying that. I think you're exactly right. What you said is, the truth. It was just more that she didn't want to focus on rejection and on no's. It's not that follow-up isn't important, because they always say the future is in the follow-up, and that you have to follow up,
Right.
an average of 5 times.
Right. And one of the other things that has really helped me is the book Go for No. And I can't remember who wrote it. But it's a really, really good book. It's a short read, but we're always taught that it's a numbers game, really, right? And you have to get so many no's before you get a yes. And you have to get so many yeses before you get somebody who wants to run and do what you want to do. So that's a good thing to read too, to kind of help you get out of that mindset that you can't do this because you're getting a bunch of no's. because you have to get the no's. It's just a number, you know, but the more no's you get, the closer you get to the yes. So
Right. Yeah, that's really good. Thank you so much. I've heard of that book. I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I'm sure it would be a good read for all of us. So thank you for sharing that.
you
So
bet. Thank
that
you.
was really good. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay. Well, anyone else have anything they wanted to share or announce before we leave here? Next week, we have Mark and Krista going to be with us. And then the following week, let's see, I think next week is Mark and Krista. I know the last Monday of the month when we have our overview presentation, we have a great one coming up, and that's going to be Becky Taylor is going to be doing our overview presentation where we can invite people to hear the whole story. So that's a great invite when we can invite people to a Zoom presentation like that. So,
I think
okay.
the 23rd is Jillian, right, Carol? Is that the 23rd is Jillian? Am I right?
Not Jillian. Oh gosh, her name just my brain cells are not back with me just
Yeah,
yet.
with the dogs
Um,
too. Is that national? It's a wonderful,
Yes,
it's gonna be a wonderful
she
meeting.
talked about the pet, how she built her business through her dog
Okay.
dog breeding.
Man, anyway, we'll get the word out to everybody. But all of April's meetings are scheduled and they're all going to be amazing. So just keep coming back every Monday.
Andrea-
Come back.
Andrea Davis.
Andrea Davis. Okay.
Took me a minute.
Well, that sounds really great. Building your business through your pet sounds like fun. So that'll be a good one. And so let's work on those presentations this month and, you know, invite. It's like they said, it's a numbers game. And so we have to do more invitations to be able to do those 15 presentations that's recommended a month. So thank you all so much for being here. It's great to see you all, and we will see you next week. God bless you.
Hey, good night.
Thank
Bye,
you, Julie.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.